What's up, everybody? Do you want to be a financial advisor, financial planner, financial coach? Okay, financial professional. Some time ago, I created a guide and a video about the 10 tips to jumpstart your financial services career. Well, I've decided to update that based on the fact that the trends in the industry are pointing towards a certain direction. I've also worked with dozens of aspiring financial professionals since then, including all the conversations on my podcast, and I wanted to make a more succinct guide to increase your probability that you will jumpstart your career in the right direction. So let's hop into it. Oh, and by the way, my name's Dominique Henderson. I am the founder of the Jumpstart Coaching Lab, an online community built for career changers just like you to help them get started in this industry. It's free, so you might as well go to join at jumpstartcoachinglab.com, and make sure for all the tips and strategies that are going to help you become that next-gen financial professional, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into that first step. Now, if you remember or have the old guide, you remember that the very first tip I gave was to do your homework. Do your research. I don't know that I can really change that one because it is so fundamental and it is the very first step. Why do you need to do this? Well, because there's so many things to get into. First of all, we have the whole advice continuum that spans from financial education, financial literacy, financial coaching, financial advising, financial planning, financial therapy. I think you get the point here. There's a lot of different paths you can go down. And since there's so many paths you can go down, there's a lot of different things that you need to understand about each role and what it feels, the need that it feels for the consumer of financial services, so you can know which one you like to do. Understanding that continuum allows you to understand where each role intersects the life of the consumer of financial services. Everybody's going to be a little different on their journey, and how you intersect with them, how you show up, that's going to be according to your own personal disposition, probably. Then there's the fact that there's government regulations around each of those roles, possibly, right? You know, who can give investment advice and all that kind of stuff. Then what kind of licenses do you need, or designations or certifications? So you got to do your research. Now, let me give you some tips on how to be successful here. First of all, you need to follow industry experts. Maybe you want to follow me. I'm just saying. Maybe you want to follow industry experts to see what type of trends are affecting the industry, and specifically the roles that may be interesting to you. The other thing I would advise you to do is to keep a note of what you're learning, right? Make sure you're writing them down in their journal. I would prefer something like an Evernote or a Notion that's digital so that you can keep it with you wherever you go. Maybe you're at a conference, or maybe you're at a lunch meeting. Anyways, I would say that you need to keep notes. Make sure that you're keeping a log of what you're learning and how that may benefit you down the road. Let's move to that next step. Invest in yourself. That is a no-brainer, it seems. However, I have this general rule that information is basically a commodity. There is so much information out there, and you don't want to just be walking around with access to gigabytes and gigabytes of information without any context. That's very important. And the way that you do that is the following. Understand that information isn't power. Knowledge is power, and knowledge specifically applied in the particular context that is relevant for that person is powerful, okay? There's so many different ways you can invest in yourself, but it basically means you're gonna have to spend the currency of time and or money as you're doing this. So some tips on how to be successful here. Find a mentor or a coach or a sponsor or somebody that has the perspective or insight that you're seeking. In particular, don't hire a career coach that hasn't worked in financial services. Don't seek a mentor that doesn't currently work in financial services or hasn't worked in financial services. What can they offer you when that is the career path you're seeking? Pretty much nothing. Maybe some general stuff from, personal development or something like that. But if you're looking for specific knowledge to set you apart, then you want the insight and the perspective that they have. That buys you leverage because they've done things that you have not done. They're ahead of you. And you want to either pay for that advice or learn that advice or both from them so that you don't have to go down the same path and take the same amount of time that they took to learn it. The other tip is if you're short on money, maybe you're a college student watching this, or you're a career changer, you haven't quite built up the runway. Find ways to trade your time, and specifically trade your leisure time for learning time. All right, let's get to that third step. Now, you've got to build your capacity and deepen your skill set. Now, what do I mean by this? It's going to be particularly difficult for people that are new to this industry, whether you're a career changer or you're just coming out of college, to actually transition into your first opportunity, because many jobs are out there wanting you to have experience. There are internships and stuff like that, but most of these well-paying opportunities want you to have some type of experience. What are you supposed to do with that? First of all, think about what you do really well already. Let's say, for instance, you know how to do IG Reels. You're doing them on your personal profile. Maybe you can make or maybe you can do a search on IG for hashtags that are related to financial services. Maybe there's some firms out there that want to increase their presence, find an audience on IG because of the type of services they offer. Couldn't you send them a video, very short introduction via a service like Loom, and tell them how you can help them? You probably could. There's a lot of applications of that type of thing where there's something you already know that may be a weakness of the firm or firms you're looking to work with. Now, this is non-conventional thinking, because although you're going to be working for a financial services firm doing something that is not financial services per se, the willingness that they're going to have to invest in you, and so that you can start to broaden your array of skills into even the financial services aspects of the job, is going to be high, because you have given them something that they've needed and now they're willing to invest in you. So you got to start thinking about things that are outside of the box, if you will, that will allow you to get that first opportunity, because it may not be as simple as you think when it comes to just putting that you're interested in financial services. So, some tips on how to be successful here. First of all, make a short list of the firms that have weaknesses in areas that you are strong. And the next thing you might want to do is create a short video introduction, something like 60 to 90 seconds, that you can shoot or slide into their DMs with to let them know how you may be able to be helpful to them. The next step is to join a supportive community. This is going to be a very difficult journey for you. It's probably going to take a little while, and I do not advise that you go at it alone. Now, there are plenty of people walking the same path as you just gotta find them. Now, I'm a little biased to a community called Jumpstart that has plenty of career changers, aspiring financial professionals, new college grads, and even existing financial professionals that are willing to help you on your path. Now, there are also others like the Association for Financial Counseling and Planning Education for coaches and counselors, and there's FPA Activate for planners. That's on Facebook. Now, the problem is most of these organizations are pretty large. And so what you're going to want to do is, once you join the larger organization, find your little tribe of maybe 5 to 10 people inside of that. Now, regardless of where you end up, here's some tips for successful execution. The first thing is, don't be afraid to move around. Once you outgrow your group, that is totally cool and okay for you to move around, because your time is valuable and you want to make sure that people are not necessarily at your level all the time. They need to be a little bit ahead of you. It's okay to have a couple in the group that are right at your level, but have some people that are a few steps ahead of you so that you can always have something that you're striving to. If you find yourself as the leader of every group you're in, you're probably not stretching yourself enough. And like I said, consider starting your own group, your own study group, your own mastermind within the larger community. You can do this and probably be pretty successful. And I'll tell you one thing. Intimacy breeds accountability. You want the smaller groups that know you, know your situation, that can actually push you in the direction you're supposed to go, versus being this little fish in a big pond. Last but not least, folks, you gotta prime your online presence. I can't say this enough, that where we're headed in this world in 2021, headed into 2022, your online persona is potentially gold. More than your resume, more than your academic record, even sometimes more than recommendations. This is a big part of what you're going to be judged on, and pretty much the way that people are going to look at you. I can't tell you how many people have started to work with me as clients in my firm that told me that they hired me specifically because I had a video presence, that they were able to get to know me before they actually made a call. It seems weird that somebody says that they get to know you via video, and I guess that has something to do with my own persona, but the point is the following. In the day and time we live in, your online history is going to be a source to kind of affirm you or reaffirm somebody's notion to work with you. It's just the way it is. You're gonna have to get used to it, okay? So here are some tips for successful execution. Get familiar with being on video and being on camera, right? Whether you hire a coach or whether you just practice on your own, this is gonna be a skill that you can use over and over and over again, and the return on investment is going to be huge, especially as we move more into this virtual and digital environment where clients show up on a virtual Zoom meeting or whatever, and you're having to relay to them and show empathy and do all the other things that you would normally do in person, you have to do in video. So this is a skill that you'll be able to use over and over again. I would also throw in there, get familiar with or be familiar with, aware of different types of trending software or other just marketing trends within the digital space of social media, because you never know how those might impact your journey. Things like TikTok or Clubhouse or all these different platforms that have come online in the last few years have really catapulted some people to the next level. And it depends on what type of path you want to take. For instance, as a financial advisor, maybe you can't do TikTok because of compliance at your firm. But if you wanted to be a financial coach and you wanted to teach people more or be an educator, TikTok is an excellent platform to use. Now it's time for you to go implement, get the guide, look down in the show notes, you can get a free copy there. The other thing is, will you please do me a favor? I am committed to making sure that aspiring financial professionals like yourself get access to this really great information to help them on their journey. However, I need you to hit that thumbs up or leave a comment down below so more people can find this video. Will you do that for me? I would really, really appreciate you for it. And take care, be safe. We'll see you in the next video.